Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about two of the most underrated yet most powerful forces in our lives: patience and silence. They are often overlooked, yet they possess transformative power. When we truly understand their value, they can guide us to a life of wisdom, influence, and inner peace. Patience and silence are two of the most powerful forces that exist in our lives, yet they are often overlooked and undervalued. In a world that glorifies speed, instant results, and constant action, these qualities might seem like mere virtues to be practiced during moments of downtime. However, patience and silence are far more than that. They are deep, transformative forces that have the potential to shape the very fabric of our lives, guiding us toward wisdom, clarity, and true strength. Patience is not about merely waiting for something to happen. It is not a passive act, a resignation to time, or an acceptance of what is out of our control. Rather, patience is an active trust in the process of life, a willingness to endure challenges and wait for the right moment. In our fast-paced society, we are often taught to act quickly, to seize opportunities at the first sign of them, to hurry toward our goals. Yet true success rarely comes from rushing. The greatest achievements are often the result of a careful, deliberate process that requires time. When we exercise patience, we trust that things will unfold as they are meant to, even if the path is not always clear or immediate. Patience teaches us that not everything can be rushed. There are moments when the right decision or the right opportunity simply cannot be forced. It must evolve naturally. When we choose to exercise patience, we step back and allow life to unfold in its own time. It is in this waiting, this stillness, that wisdom often rises to the surface. The very act of stepping away from the urge to act gives us the space to think deeply, to consider our options, and to gain the clarity needed to move forward with confidence. The silent moments of waiting, when nothing seems to be happening, are often when the most profound revelations occur, moments of deep understanding that words and actions alone could never reveal. Silence, much like patience, is often misunderstood. It is easy to see silence as the absence of noise, the lack of words. But silence is not emptiness. Silence is a powerful presence in and of itself. It is a space where we can fully connect with ourselves, with our thoughts, and with the world around us. In the midst of silence, we find clarity. It is in these moments of quiet that we hear the inner voice that guides us toward our true path. Silence opens the door to deeper self-awareness and reflection, allowing us to hear not just the thoughts that rush through our minds, but also the stillness that speaks directly to our hearts. In silence, we come face to face with our true selves. It is often easy to become distracted by the noise of daily life, our work, our obligations, the demands of others. But when we make space for silence, we create an opportunity to reconnect with our inner voice, the one that knows our deepest desires, fears, and truths. In the absence of external noise, we can tune into our own thoughts and feelings with greater accuracy, understanding what truly matters and what we must focus on. Silence allows us to access wisdom beyond what is immediately apparent to the senses. It is the backdrop against which clarity emerges, helping us make decisions that are in alignment with our highest purpose. When we combine patience and silence, we begin to understand that they are not separate entities, but are deeply intertwined. The power of patience is most effectively realized in the quiet moments of silence. Patience requires us to trust the process, but it also requires us to listen, to wait, not in idle anticipation, but in a space of active listening. In silence, we find the answers that patience is waiting for. When we are patient, we create a space for silence to work its magic, and in that silence, we find the clarity and insight needed to move forward. Moreover, patience and silence are invaluable tools in mastering impulse. In a world that encourages immediate reactions, it can be all too easy to speak or act in haste, driven by emotion or external pressures. Yet, when we choose to be patient, we allow ourselves the space to reflect before we act. This moment of reflection is crucial, as it prevents us from making impulsive decisions that we might later regret. Patience, in this sense, is not merely about waiting, but about cultivating the discipline to pause, to think, and to consider the best course of action. In silence, we allow ourselves to feel our emotions, to process them, and to understand them before they dictate our behavior. The true power of silence and patience also lies in their ability to influence others. In a world that often values loud voices and quick decision-making, those who practice patience and silence can exert a quiet but powerful influence. It is not through loud proclamations or dramatic actions that true leadership is demonstrated, but through the steady, composed presence that comes from exercising patience and remaining silent when others may be tempted to speak. The leader who is patient and who embodies silence is one who guides others by example, showing them that strength does not always need to be loud or immediate. In fact, sometimes the greatest strength lies in the ability to remain calm, composed, and patient, even in the face of uncertainty. Through patience and silence, we come to realize that power is not always about doing more, saying more, or reacting more. Sometimes power is found in doing less, in waiting, listening, and trusting the process. When we learn to harness the hidden powers of patience and silence, we unlock a profound source of wisdom, influence, and inner peace that can guide us through even the most challenging times. Silence is often misunderstood in a world that thrives on noise and constant stimulation. Many people view silence as a void, an absence of sound, or something to be feared because of its association with emptiness. However, silence is far from being a void. In fact, it is a profound space where true presence is experienced and felt. Silence is not a lack of something, but rather a space where everything that truly matters can be fully realized. In silence, we find the opportunity to reconnect with our innermost selves. It is in these quiet moments that we are given the chance to step outside the chaos of daily life and listen to what lies within. The sounds of the world around us often drown out the voice of our intuition and the whispers of our deepest truths. But in silence, we can hear those whispers. It is in the absence of external distractions that we are able to connect with the parts of ourselves that often remain unnoticed. Silence is where we can hear our own thoughts clearly, where we are able to confront our emotions without the interference of outside noise. Moreover, silence holds the potential to reveal a deeper wisdom that transcends what we can see or hear with our eyes. In a world that places so much value on visible achievements and loud voices, we often overlook the quiet strength and wisdom that exists just beneath the surface. The truth is, the most valuable insights are not always spoken aloud or displayed for all to see. They are often found in the quietest moments, in the space between thoughts, or in the stillness of nature. Silence allows us to tap into this hidden well of wisdom, enabling us to make decisions that are rooted in a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. It is in silence that we can hear the wisdom of the universe, a wisdom that speaks in the subtle, the unseen, and the unspoken. While the world rushes forward in pursuit of immediate gratification and quick answers, silence provides a pause, a chance to reflect, to absorb, and to integrate the lessons that life is offering us. In these moments of quiet, we come to realize that there is far more happening beneath the surface than meets the eye. The wisdom we seek is often not external, but internal, waiting to be discovered in the quiet spaces of our lives. When we embrace silence as a space of presence rather than absence, we open ourselves up to deeper levels of understanding. We can hear the thoughts and feelings that we may have been too busy to acknowledge. We can connect with the world in a more meaningful way, not by rushing to fill the silence with words, but by allowing the silence to speak to us. In this way, silence becomes a teacher, showing us that sometimes the most powerful messages are the ones that are not spoken at all. In a world filled with distractions, silence allows us to center ourselves and reconnect with our true essence. It is a space where we can breathe, think, and feel without the pressure of constantly being on. The real power of silence lies not in its emptiness, but in its ability to ground us, to center our thoughts, and to guide us toward a deeper understanding of who we are and what we truly need. Far from being an absence of sound, silence is a profound presence that connects us to the core of our being and the wisdom beyond what is immediately apparent to the senses. Patience and silence are often the unseen forces behind personal growth. And like the planting of a seed, their true power is realized only over time. Just as a seed cannot be rushed into full bloom, so too cannot our growth, progress, or understanding be hurried. Growth requires time, nurturing, and an environment in which patience and silence can take root. In the quiet moments as we wait and reflect, we allow our thoughts, actions, and decisions to mature and evolve. In this stillness, great strength and resilience are nurtured, preparing us for challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Think about a seed. When planted, it doesn't immediately grow into a tree. It lies dormant for a period, drawing nourishment from the soil, the sunlight, and the rain. It's a slow process, and we often cannot see the changes taking place beneath the surface. But as time goes on, this seed transforms into something much greater than it originally appeared to be. The growth is gradual, and much of it happens in silence, where the seed is quietly absorbing everything it needs to become what it is destined to be. Similarly, when we practice patience and embrace silence, we allow ourselves to grow and develop in ways that are not always immediately visible. The process of growth is not always exciting or fast. Often, it unfolds in the quiet moments where we allow ourselves to simply be. When we are patient, we give ourselves the gift of time to reflect, to learn, and to mature. In moments of silence, we create the space for this growth to occur. Patience allows us to accept that growth is not always linear, and that there will be times of stillness where progress may seem invisible. However, just as the seed is slowly gathering strength beneath the surface, our own growth is happening quietly, layer by layer. These periods of silence are not wasted time. They are essential stages of development, where resilience and strength are being cultivated. The results of patience and silence may not be immediately apparent, but over time, they shape us into stronger, more grounded individuals. Moreover, patience and silence teach us the value of delayed gratification. In a world that often values instant results, we may forget that some of the best things in life take time. Success, happiness, and wisdom are not obtained in the blink of an eye. They require patience to cultivate and silence to reflect upon. Just as a tree does not bear fruit overnight, the results of our patience and silence will eventually bear fruit, but only after we have given them the time and space they need to grow. It is in those moments of quiet waiting, when we resist the urge to rush or force things to happen, that we are laying the foundation for greater things to come. Strength and resilience are born in these moments. In silence, we learn to endure, to wait, and to remain steady even when we are unsure of what is coming next. It is in this quiet endurance that we build the strength to face challenges and overcome obstacles. The process may not always be easy, but as we practice patience and embrace silence, we develop a deep well of resilience within ourselves. It is this inner strength that allows us to persevere even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Patience and silence are not passive states. They are active ingredients in the cultivation of our personal power. When we nurture ourselves through patience and silence, we create an environment where growth is inevitable. Like the seed that silently grows in the soil, we too can grow and evolve in the quiet spaces of our lives. We just have to trust the process, allow ourselves to be still, and have faith that over time we will emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. The growth that comes from patience and silence is not immediate, but it is lasting, and it lays the foundation for everything that follows. In the midst of a world that never stops, where noise and distractions are constant, silence becomes a precious and rare gift. It is in silence that we find the fertile ground for reflection, the space where we can pause, think, and realign ourselves with our true purpose. In a society where we are often encouraged to keep moving, keep talking, and keep doing, silence offers us the opportunity to slow down and listen. When we embrace silence, we create an environment where our thoughts can settle, and we can hear the whispers of insight and inspiration that are often drowned out by the noise of everyday life. Reflection and silence is one of the most powerful tools we have for self-discovery and growth. When we take the time to be still and quiet, we allow our minds to process, to consider, and to gain clarity on the choices and paths before us. The constant bombardment of information and the rush to fill every moment with activity can cloud our judgment and obscure the deeper wisdom that resides within us. But in silence, we are free from these distractions, and we can hear our inner voice more clearly. It is in these moments of stillness that we can evaluate where we have been, where we are now, and where we want to go. Reflection allows us to step back from the busyness of life and gain perspective on our experiences, our actions, and our desires. Silence invites us to slow down and consider the things that truly matter. When we reflect in silence, we are not merely thinking about the surface level events of our lives, but we are diving deeper into our hearts and minds. It is in these moments that we can uncover the truths that guide us, the values that define us, and the lessons we need to learn. In the absence of distractions, we have the space to connect with our deeper selves, allowing us to realign our actions with our highest purpose. This clarity of focus is one of the greatest gifts that silence offers, an opportunity to cut through the noise and gain a deeper understanding of what is truly important. Reflection in silence also sharpens our ability to make decisions. In a world where we are often pressured to make quick decisions, silence gives us the chance to pause and evaluate our options thoughtfully. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can consider all angles, weigh the consequences, and move forward with greater confidence. It is in these moments of quiet reflection that our true wisdom shines through, guiding us toward choices that are aligned with our values and long-term goals. Furthermore, reflection in silence is a powerful tool for healing. When we take the time to reflect in quiet moments, we allow ourselves to process emotions and experiences that we may have buried or ignored. Silence gives us the space to confront our fears, our regrets, and our pain, allowing us to release what no longer serves us. It is in this healing process that we find the strength to move forward with renewed purpose and clarity. Reflection allows us to learn from our past, grow from our mistakes, and forgive ourselves for the things we cannot change. In a world that encourages constant noise, constant action, and constant doing, the ability to be silent is a rare and invaluable skill. Silence gives us the space to reflect, to listen to our inner wisdom, and to connect with the deeper truths that guide us. When we make time for silence, we are making time for growth, for clarity, and for understanding. It is in these quiet moments of reflection that we can sharpen our focus, align ourselves with our true purpose, and gain the insights that shape our future. Silence is not an absence, but a presence that empowers us to live more fully and in the fast-paced world we live in, the impulse to act immediately is a powerful force. Whether it's a sudden emotional reaction, a hasty decision, or an urge to speak without thinking, we are often driven by the need for instant action. However, it is precisely in these moments of impulse that we may find ourselves regretting our choices. Patience and silence are the antidotes to this impulse, offering us the tools we need to master our reactions and make choices that are thoughtful, deliberate, and aligned with our true intentions. Patience provides us with the critical space to pause before we act. It is all too easy to react in the heat of the moment, to speak out of frustration, anger, or excitement, and to act without considering the long-term impact. But when we exercise patience, we resist the urge to act immediately. Instead, we allow ourselves the time and space to reflect on our emotions and circumstances. In this moment of stillness, we gain the ability to process our feelings and thoughts before making a decision or taking action. This space allows us to consider the consequences of our actions, ensuring that we respond in a way that is thoughtful, balanced, and in line with our values. Silence is equally powerful in helping us master impulse. In silence, we are removed from external distractions and the pressure to act quickly. Silence creates a space where we can listen to our inner voice, the part of us that is often drowned out by the noise of the outside world. When we are silent, we allow ourselves to hear our deeper thoughts, which can guide us to a more measured response. The pause that silence creates allows us to check our impulses before they take over, ensuring that we respond rather than react. It is in this space of reflection that we gain clarity on what truly matters, helping us to make decisions that are not only wise, but also intentional. The mastery of impulse through patience and silence also involves a deep understanding of our emotions. Often our impulses are triggered by emotions, fear, anger, frustration, or excitement. These emotions can cloud our judgment, leading us to make decisions that are driven by temporary feelings rather than long-term wisdom. Patience gives us the ability to step back and recognize these emotions without allowing them to control us. Silence allows us to observe our feelings without immediately acting on them, giving us the opportunity to reflect on their source and their significance. When we practice patience and silence, we develop the emotional intelligence necessary to recognize and manage our emotions in a way that empowers us to respond with greater wisdom. This mastery over impulse is not about suppressing our feelings or ignoring our instincts. It is about choosing how we respond. Impulsivity often leads to regret because it is driven by reactive, unchecked emotions. Patience and silence give us the ability to respond from a place of clarity, understanding, and self-awareness. Instead of acting out of fear, frustration, or excitement, we can choose to act out of purpose, wisdom, and intention. Furthermore, the more we practice patience and silence in our daily lives, the easier it becomes to resist the pull of impulse. It is like building a muscle. The more we use these qualities, the more naturally they become integrated into our decision-making process. Over time, we develop the ability to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully without needing to immediately act. We begin to trust in the process of waiting, knowing that our best responses come from a place of calmness and clarity, not from urgency or instinct. Patience and silence, when practiced consistently, transform our approach to life's challenges. They give us the tools to master impulse, to create space for reflection, and to respond to situations with thoughtfulness and care. In a world that rewards quick action and immediate gratification, the ability to pause and reflect is a rare and powerful skill. By exercising patience and embracing silence, we not only make better decisions, but we also cultivate the inner strength and self-control needed to navigate life with wisdom and grace. In a world that often equates influence with loud voices, bold actions, and outward displays of power, the true strength of silence and patience is frequently overlooked. However, there is an undeniable power in quiet influence. A power that is rooted not in external actions, but in inner peace and calm. Silence and patience, when embraced, become tools for leadership that go beyond words and dramatic gestures. It is in these quiet moments, in the stillness, that true leadership is often born. The strength of quiet influence lies in its ability to lead by example. When we practice patience, when we choose to remain silent in the face of chaos, we are not simply standing by in passivity. We are demonstrating strength. In a world that rushes, those who can remain still show others the power of taking their time, thinking things through, and resisting the urge to act impulsively. People around us notice this. They may not immediately understand the depth of our silence, but they will sense the calmness, the confidence, and the clarity that comes from it. In our quiet moments, we subtly lead others by showing them a different way to approach challenges, one that values reflection, careful thought, and composure. This quiet leadership exerts a profound influence precisely because it is not forceful or demanding. It is not about telling others what to do or commanding attention. Rather, it is about embodying the strength that comes from stillness and patience. When we remain calm, composed, and patient, even in difficult circumstances, we provide a model for others to follow. People begin to recognize that leadership does not always require loud speeches or grand gestures. Sometimes the most powerful form of leadership is the ability to remain centered, to stay true to one's values, and to navigate challenges with a quiet but unwavering strength. A quiet leader is someone who exudes inner peace, a peace that others are naturally drawn to. This type of influence is far more powerful than we often realize. It is the ability to remain grounded and focused, even in the midst of chaos. It is the ability to think clearly and make sound decisions without the need to prove ourselves to others. The quiet leader understands that their influence does not come from external validation, but from an internal foundation of self-awareness and confidence. When we cultivate patience and silence, we also create space for others to feel heard and valued. In moments of silence, we are not just waiting for our turn to speak, but we are actively listening, absorbing what others have to say. This type of presence is incredibly influential. People are drawn to those who listen with genuine attention, who offer their presence without judgment or distraction. In these quiet moments of patient listening, we exert an influence that is far greater than any spoken word could have. We create an environment where others feel safe to express themselves, to think deeply, and to act with clarity. Furthermore, silence and patience give us the ability to observe with greater depth. In the absence of constant noise and activity, we can see things more clearly. We are not overwhelmed by the rush of events or the pressure to respond immediately. Instead, we can assess situations with a clear mind, understanding the dynamics at play and responding with wisdom. This ability to observe and reflect before acting gives us a distinct advantage in leadership. While others may react impulsively, we have the capacity to make informed, deliberate decisions that benefit everyone involved. Our quiet strength is the result of our ability to wait, to listen, and to act with intention. True influence does not always require words. Sometimes the most profound influence is exerted in silence, through actions that speak louder than words ever could. The quiet leader's strength lies in their ability to remain grounded, to stay true to their principles, and to influence others through their presence, their patience, and their unwavering commitment to what truly matters. It is in the stillness that we find the depth of our influence, showing others that real strength does not need to be loud to be effective. Through patience, silence, and inner peace, we can inspire others, lead by example, and make a lasting impact that transcends the need for constant noise and action. In conclusion, the hidden powers of patience and silence are not just virtues to be admired, but transformative forces that shape the very essence of our lives and our leadership. Patience is not the passive waiting of idle hands, but the active cultivation of wisdom, strength, and resilience. Silence is not an absence of noise, but the fertile ground from which our most profound insights, decisions, and actions emerge. In a world that glorifies haste and noise, those who learn to embrace these quiet forces are those who wield true power. When we master the art of patience, we give ourselves the space to reflect, to grow, and to transform. Through silence, we connect to a deeper wisdom, an inner strength that speaks louder than words ever could. And when we lead from a place of quiet confidence and inner peace, we influence not through force, but through the depth of our being, leading by example and guiding others to their own quiet greatness. Remember, greatness is not always loud, leadership is not always seen, but the seeds of greatness are planted in patience, and the power of influence is birthed in silence. Let us choose, then, to embrace these hidden powers, for in doing so we will discover the strength to master ourselves, to lead with wisdom, and to leave a legacy that speaks far beyond what our voices can ever utter. The world may be noisy, but in the quiet moments we find the strength to change it.